Good morning, and I am very thankful to be able to share this experience with you all. I intern with Southern Investments LLP out of Valdosta, Georgia. And so just a little bit of background about Southern Investments. It was founded in 1999 as a private investment company. It later went on to acquire Bemis RV Park. There were 63 mobile home sites on this park. And during the spring of '03, they also got the permit to expand and build 54,000 square foot of storage. So what we're viewing right here is this is the storage. Whoops, excuse me. So we have the storage here, and we have an additional 3.5 acres over here. So this used to be all mobile home, and that's when we expanded the storage facility over here. And we still only have one mobile home just to grandfather in our ability to keep the mobile homes RVs. So just a little bit about the team. There were 7 of us that were working pretty diligently to do everything, get all the information, research. So our founder, his name is John Huff. He is a contractor and real estate investor. He has an MBA from Oregon State University. And who I worked under was Victoria Fain. She went to school at Valdosta State University. She has her MBA in accounting. So it was really cool to be able to see the financial side of this while I was also practicing using strategic management to bring it all together. And then we have Bill Langdale, who is just a local attorney. He is our real estate attorney, erectors, plumbers, and concrete men. So one of the big topics for me was just site development and using effective management to be able to plan out, organize, and effectively complete it. So we have our steps are planning, organization, implementing, and analyzing our results. Using strategic management, we're able to implement our SMART goals. These goals need to be strategic, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And if we follow through with each of these, our process should be relatively smoothly. Like with all business, there will be hiccups. There will be instances that we didn't see coming that we are going to have to adjust to. So my roles and responsibilities in this is I serve the position of project manager, where I would establish the research and just create the foundations for a new investment. Once I was searching for a location and we found a location that fits well politically, geographically, and close to consumers, I was able to detail that research even further to decide if this could be a potential investment opportunity. Using the SWOT analysis, we really looked over all of our research and we came to the conclusion that it could be a possibly good investment. So part of my research was getting price estimates on all the construction, and I thought the most interesting part was the concrete. So what's called footers is basically a base that's a little bit thicker to allow for weight and balance just with the infrastructure in general. So using math with the footers, we had to figure out the area that we needed, whereas on the very edges of the concrete, it would come in 4 inches deep as an extra base layer. So I thought that was very cool. And as you can see on the screen, this is a list of estimates that we found for all building, including contractor fees. And this totals 1.1 million. So we just round up and pull a $1.2 million loan in order to complete this. So cluster internship. This was a really this was a thoughtful question that I really had to think through because I love the classroom setting and being able to actively ask questions. But ever since the pandemic, we go online and it's kind of like a daycare for an hour. Obviously, it's very informative and you learn a lot, but I just don't get the same experience online as I do doing it in person because I'm just a hands-on learner, and I know there's a lot of people out there like me. Um, so other aspects of business that we did get to go through the motions and all of that would be financing. Proper financing is literally the quintessential core of a small business that isn't quite publicly traded, and they don't really have the access to capital to just expand senselessly. And I think the prerequisites that definitely helped me along the way in this process was accounting, corporate finance, money and banking, and strategic management. Because it just, thank you, Dr. Cowart, it all just flows together. And I think strategic management was the one course that not only taught me a lot, but it also kind of introduced me on how to sync those together for the best results. So this moves us to where I currently am, which is Valdosta, and the competition in the local area. So we see a lot of investment firms like CubeSmart. I can't even remember the Extra Space and those bigger names. And they have a technique where they like to go in, they like to spend a lot of capital, and they just like to build it grand. But with our research, what we found is that in the less urban populations, it's actually kind of a waste of money, but it is a good idea if you are simply trying to inflate your balance sheet or just prove that you have many assets. So with these price comparisons, we found that Extra Space, they would spend $10 million just to build a location of 100,000 square foot. That comes out to roughly $100 a square foot. So in order to combat that, we just go in with reasonable pricing, and our whole plan is based on minimizing cost and maximizing the value. So yeah, Extra Space uses what I like to call asset inflation, which is where they just spend a bunch of money to boost their assets, which, I mean, it sounds like a good idea until economic downturn hits and you don't have the free cash flow to back that up. So instead of fixing the books, we are shooting for organic growth to expand the corporation very organically. So there's the flip to build to sell model that we could be using, but we are adjusting for a consistent cash flow. And so we're not just cashing out, because when we build at $27 a square foot, we could easily turn around and flip that for $45, which would equal about 720,000 on 40,000 square foot of storage. But that's very short-minded, and I believe that opens up more risk because you are in such a hurry to get it done that you don't mind spending that extra capital. So this brings us to the project that I was able to plan in Lakeland, Georgia. So it has a pretty small population, about 3,100, but we're able to find this very nice piece of property, 2.5 acres, for $60,000. And that's just like, it's a good price whenever you consider that the competition in the area is kind of dilapidated. And so what I'm showing right here is the local pricing surveys. And as we can see in 2019, they had a decent return, good averages, whatever. But by July, because of the pandemic, uncertainty, and all that, it started a bidding war. So what that did was just bring the price pressures down. So it had a bunch of downward pressure. So those firms that paid top dollar in order to build actually ended up having to keep their higher prices in order to make up for their cost. And this was just a recent survey that I was able to be a part of. It shows the competitors still having to raise their prices a little bit, but I'm sorry. But yeah, our low cost model allows us to be able to undercut their prices. And we don't publicly market our price because we believe in that relationship. It needs to be strong with the consumer. And we believe that's what sets us apart from just walking into CubeSmart and getting a unit for, 35% more. So yes, this slide was basically what I was saying about the downward pressure and how whenever new entrants come in, that creates more downward pressure because everyone's trying to fight for that very little market share. But what we see is that those who can build it for the cheapest usually end up performing better in the long run. So this is what I like to call a checkmate. So with Southern Investments low cost best value strategy, we're able to actually undercut their good prices with even better prices while offering a very good relationship to let the consumer know that they are secure. What did I learn? I learned biggest lesson is that patience is key because no matter what part in the business process you're going through, the more patience you have, the wiser decisions you're going to be making. So this reflects not only in the immediate management, but also in the long-term management as we avoid more problems with better planning. And so in summary, I've had an incredible experience with Southern Investments, and I'm very grateful to be able to watch the process unfold and not only watch the process unfold, but actually get to plan more business ventures that aren't guaranteed to be done, but I have proven that they are profitable and there is a pent up demand in them, such as the RV park. And so that summarizes my internship. And thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to share.